This was me playing in a match on Saturday, and this was around 20 minutes after that picture was taken. This match might just be the last I'll ever play in. So it is day 3 now of being injured. The physio and doctor said it's probably an ACL or LCL injury. So I'm just resting it now, trying to levitate it and ice it every 1 to 2 hours. I do have an MRI scan tonight in which we'll find out what the specific injury is, so I can actually decide what the next best step would be for me in order to recover. So it is now 8:30 at night. We are headed to this clinic to get an MRI on my knee. For some reason, the only time I could get for an appointment is at 9 o'clock at night. Very weird, but we shall see. So we got to the clinic and I did the classic try to avoid eye contact with your mate whilst you're doing a presentation look whilst I was checking in. And then they gave me some long, weird form to fill out, which is in Hungarian, which made it slightly awkward.
So how did it go?
Not bad, as to be expected. We're just about to head home now. It is like 9, not mate, it's almost 10 o'clock.
No.
Yeah, I should get the results from the doctor within 1 to 3 business days. So hopefully, worst case scenario, I know by Friday what exactly it is. Now it's just a matter of waiting. It is now a couple days later. As you can see, I'm just icing and levitating my knee. I try to do this around every 1 to 2 hours, just for about 10 minutes, just to try and tackle the swelling and whatnot. So I did get the MRI results back, and unfortunately, there is a tear in my ACL. Now, there is some good news with that. The fact that it's not a complete tear means that, you know, it's not as severe as, obviously, a complete tear would be. Now, it's been quite stressful because I don't actually know what to do. In the MRI, it didn't, suggest a recovery plan. They didn't tell me how severe the tear is, what grade it is, what percentage it is. So now it's just sort of up in the air. Right now I'm in the process of just trying to find doctors in the local area to get second, third, fourth opinions, trying to get a consultation and actually figure out what I'm meant to do. I have a feeling that I won't need an operation, but who am I to read an MRI and say that? I don't have a clue at the end of the day. But the fact that they didn't say on the diagnosis that I need an operation and it's only a partial tear, I'm going to assume that all the doctors that I go and see throughout the next week or so will just basically tell me just to rest it, levitate it. I might get some sort of brace for it to, solidify it and stabilize it. But again, I really don't know. This is probably the worst part of this whole process, is just not knowing and trying to find doctors and people to find who can actually help. I'm not sure how interested people will be into the pricing, but in case you've done your ACL as well and are sort of going through this process with me, I will let you know how much this is costing me. So if you didn't know, we're currently based in Hungary in Eastern Europe, so I do not have health insurance essentially here. So I did have to pay for the ambulance to come out to the match, and I got a pretty basic scan at the A&E. So for that, I had to pay around 50 British pounds. And then for the MRI itself, that was, I think, 120 pounds. I mean, if you compare that to prices in England, where I grew up, that's like a fourth of the price I would have paid there. So I can't complain about that. I'm pretty sure MRIs in England privately are around £400 or £500. So yeah, so far I've spent around £170. A consultation again will probably be around another £50. And then, after that I'm not sure what I'll need to do. It could be, again, if it's an operation, then obviously that is quite expensive, but fingers crossed, I hope and I think that I won't need an operation. It's just a matter of resting, solidifying the surrounding muscles and the knee itself, and then trying to strengthen it all back up. But that will come with a lot of physiotherapy. Of course, that's a given. But again, physiotherapy is not very cheap, so in the long run, again, that'll be quite expensive. So yeah, try and avoid an ACL injury if you can, because it's not very cheap. I've had a few bad experiences so far, obviously with an ACL, it's a horrible thing. But some of the horrible things is almost every day I wake up by, naturally stretching, and then for some reason my body just goes, right, okay, now you're going to try and bend your knee fully very, very quickly. I'm not sure why. It's not consciously done. And this morning I almost started screaming. I don't know why. I just woke up and my knee was I just started bending it. I don't know why. Like I said, it was like a subconscious movement, but it very, very hurt. And then it hurt for about 10-15 minutes after that period. Also, getting to sleep is quite difficult because it's quite hard to find a position in bed that's comfortable for my knee. Obviously you can't really straighten it out or bend it. Also, probably one of the worst things so far about this experience, this is sort of ended now, but especially for the first few days, trying to get to sleep, throughout the day, my mindset and general mental well-being has been absolutely fine. But when trying to get to sleep, all I can imagine in my head is the injury taking place in that match when I was running down the wing. And then I could just hear that pop over and over in my head, and it just cringes me out and it's disgusting. Like I said, the past day or so has been relatively okay, but especially the first few days, it was awful. I am fortunate enough to have the ability to work from home, which I'd never complain about, but being bed-bound essentially and working from my bed is something that is not very nice at all. Sitting up in my bed probably 10 hours a day is just so uncomfy. Again, I don't want to sound like I'm just complaining about everything and I have a complete negative mindset towards it all, because at the end of the day I am grateful to be able to work from home and have a comfy bed, etc, etc. But yeah, that is the update. I didn't mention as well, I was saying that I was trying to find doctors to consult me essentially. I have tried to ring a few about. Yesterday, me and Josh were walking all over the city. Essentially, I rang the place that I did the MRI scan. The doctor who would handle this stuff is currently on holiday leave. We rang up another private clinic and they don't have any available bookings until April. And then this third one who I had to email, I could only get a booking for next Saturday, which is from today, that's in 8 days' time. I was hoping for something, within the next 2 days, but what can you do, essentially? At the end of the day, I'm doing everything I can in order to recover. It's just quite annoying not actually knowing what's wrong with me and what I'm meant to do. So yeah, that is the update. I don't think I have anything else to talk about right now. I am just going to continue doing what I can, like I said, and I will let you know if anything happens or changes.
So the next few days pretty much consisted of the same boring routine, just resting, icing. I went out for the occasional walk and sit on the bench when it was sunny. And as depressing as it sounds, that is probably the highlight of my day right now. As you can see, I did get my knee taped up as well by a physio. This isn't something I asked for or necessarily even researched. It was just suggested. So I just thought, why not? This just gives that little extra bit of stabilization in my knee. I'm also trying to, work out as much as I can. This pretty much just consists of some struggling push-ups, some dips as you can see, and I also was given some exercises within my legs to try and maintain some form of strength and size in my legs throughout this injury. So that is just essentially tensing up all the muscle groups in my legs. And as usual, the typical icing of the knee.
This is a Cinema Beats production.